Welcome to Science Spectrum with Dawn. This is Biology 190, the fundamentals of biology, and this will be the first part of the first lecture in biology. So I will start off with an introduction to biology. Introduction to biology and generally, okay, this course. Now the first key question you may want to ask, right, is what is biology? So the answer is a straightforward one. There are two words here, bio and logy. So bio represents life. Bio is life, and the life implies, okay, life in living organisms. Living organisms, okay, which could be plants or animals. So it's simply the life, the study of, so logy is the study of life. That's biology. The study of life. Life of what? Life, okay, of living organisms. The plants and animals. So biology is the study of living organisms. Living organisms. Why? Because they have life. They have life. And living organisms are plants and animals. Now, life is really a complex word. A complex word, and I may need to define this, okay, based on my own perspective. So I may define life as a genetic unit. A genetic unit. A genetic unit, okay, that is capable of reproduction, adaptation, okay, development, capable of development, okay, evolution, right? And the list will go on and on like that, etc., etc. Now, these words, reproduction, adaptation, development, evolution, okay, and the others, right, that I haven't mentioned yet, but to talk about shortly, we call these the characteristics of living organisms. So these are the properties of living organisms. So if an organism, okay, exhibits either of this or all of these properties, right, we classify them as living organisms. All right. Now biology has two main aspects. Since it's the study of living organisms, so biology has two main aspects. The first is the aspect, okay, that treats or studies animal life. So animal life, the study of animal life, we call that zoology. Zoology is the study of animals. Study of animals. And of course the other is botany. Botany, which is the study of plants. The study of plants. Alright, now plants and animals, we refer to them as living organisms, right? So let's talk about their characteristics. Characteristics of plants and animals, because there are still distinguishable features, right, between plants and animals, but something makes them living organisms altogether. So let's look at that. So we'll talk about the characteristics of living organisms. The characteristics of living organisms. But before I talk about that, it may interest you to know that life, okay, could emanate from the smallest bits of matter up to the world around us, that's the biosphere itself. So life evolves from atom or atoms, which is the smallest bit of matter, right? And it goes to the chemical building blocks. We also call this monomers. And an example of this is amino acid. You also have macromolecules, macromolecules. An example of this is proteins, right? And these macromolecules, they are, most of the time, they are organized into structures, and this structure, the simplest, is an organelle. An example is mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell. This is the plural term, and the singular is mitochondria. All right, and we have cells, the structural and functional unit of life, right? That has a nucleus and a cytoplasm. Then we have tissues, mass of light cells. Tissues are mass of light cells. Of course, we have organs, well specialized tissues, right? Organs. We have organ systems. And of course, aside from this, we have individuals now. We have individuals. We have, a collection of them as population. The population, where they live, where they live, we call that the ecosystem, right? And up to the world around us, which is the biosphere. So this is what, life is all about. It starts off from the smallest bits, things that you and I can't really see, way up to, what we could see and embrace. All right, so let's talk about the characteristics of living organisms. And after that, I'll talk briefly about the specialized or auxiliary fields in this, branch of, that's in the branches of biology. So let's talk about characteristics. The characteristics of living organisms. This implies both plants and animals. So the first one is organization. So the chemical building blocks, which are compounds, so to speak, at times they are arranged, right, or they evolve into structures, right? So every living organism possesses that characteristic, which is organization. Number two, you have motion, or we say movements. That's the change in position, right, of either the whole body or a part of the body. So animals, right, they change position with the whole body. We call that locomotion. And while plants, move just a part of the body. Then we have number three, reproduction. This is simply a process whereby a living organism, or this is a process whereby living organisms give birth to similar organisms like themselves, Examples of this, you have, we also call this progeny or offspring. And of course, there are two types of this. It could be asexual or sexual reproduction. Then we have nutrition. Nutrition is the process, that entails taking in complex substances, that's macromolecules, and then breaking them down, into simpler ones, by which our cells and tissues, could absorb, right? And that gives us energy, because the energy most of the time is stored, in those bonds. And number five, we have excretion. Excretion is simply the removal of toxic wastes from the body. So that part of the molecule that has been broken down that our cells and tissues can't absorb necessarily, right? We do it with them by excreting them. Now you have sensitivity. At times we call this irritability. It's just the ability okay, by which the living organism responds to changes in their environment. Take for example, when a firecracker pops, you adjust to those changes, right? When a pin pricks you, you adjust to those changes. This is what we call sensitivity or irritability. And we have number 7. We have number 7. Number 7. We have homeostasis. 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 This is maintaining, right? And this is a process whereby a living organism maintains both internal, okay, and external balance, okay, in changes. So I mean, let me put this in a more preferred manner. It's just a process, right, whereby living organisms, they maintain a balance both internally and externally. Okay, take for example, when the weather is hot, right, you sweat, and when you sweat, you have to maintain the balance internally, right, because the way of losing heat is by sweating. So you would have to take water, right, to make up for that. So that's balance, maintaining a balance, equalizing, okay, changes internally and externally. We call that homeostasis. Then we have evolution. That's the process whereby living organisms changes their form, right? Changes their form. Then we have number 9. We have respiration. You could think of this as combustion in your body, okay? Breaking down, okay? It's just a chemical reaction in cells, okay, of living organisms, whereby energy is broken down, okay, to give carbon dioxide and water, right? And that energy is usually being stored in the bonds, okay, of organic molecules in our body. All right, then we have growth and reproduction. Growth and reproduction. Okay, this could be, and this is an increase in size, okay, or the diet of a living organism. And of course, the last but not the least is death. So living organisms, okay, they die. So these are the characteristics, a few of them, or some, right, of living organisms. All right, so let me talk about briefly some specialized fields or auxiliary fields, okay, in biology. That's given the branches of biology which we talked about earlier on to be botany, the study of plants, and zoology, the study of animals. So there are other specialized fields. So let's talk about some specialized fields. Okay, in biology. So we have cell biology, okay, the study of the structural and functional units of life in living organisms, right? How they interact, okay? We have physiology. This is the study of organs, okay, of living organisms. There is a pathology, the study of diseases and dysfunctional organs. Have genetics, okay, study of proteinous molecules, okay, right, in our DNA, right, how they interact, okay, in living organisms. So, and of course the list could go just on and on like this. So these are some of the specialized fields in biology. Now, I want to be detailed now about the classification of living organisms, because the world around us, we find several millions or even billions of living organisms, and we have to bring order. By classifying them, right? Because the diversity of living organisms. So let's see how we classify living organisms. So start off with classification of living organisms. If you're new to the channel, you may want to like, share, and subscribe for more contents as they reel out shortly. Alright, so we'll talk briefly about classification of living organisms. So we'll talk about the classification of living organisms, organisms. Alright, what is classification? It's simply grouping living organisms on the basis of the features they have in common. So classification is grouping living organisms on the basis of their common features. Alright, I may need to wrap it up here for the sake of time, and I'll proceed from here afterwards. Thank you.